What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and things just got super exciting for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as it looks like we just got the reveals for two major upcoming MCU villains, one for the Blade movie and another for upcoming groups like the Midnight Suns and other supernatural projects where this person is going to be the villain for. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, has been talking about for a while how we are going to be seeing different sides to the MCU. Of course, we're going to have our very grounded earthly Avengers team, but to take it even further than that, we are going to have a street level Avengers team as well. These characters will consist of Spider-Man, the Punisher, Daredevil, etc. Then we're going to have our cosmic side of the MCU, and we're about to further explore this side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the next two MCU movies that are coming out, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and The Marvels. But then we have the supernatural side of the MCU. And this is a side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that a lot of fans are really looking forward to. Now, it's already gotten off to a start with Doctor Strange, and then of course we got our special presentation, Werewolf by Night, further diving into a true supernatural and mystic side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it looks like we might actually know now who the main big bad is of the supernatural side of the MCU. Now, just so you're aware, each kind of subunit of the MCU will indeed have their own big bad villains, so to speak. For example, the street level Avengers team with Spider-Man, Daredevil, Echo, and the Punisher, their villain is going to be Kingpin. He is going to appear in multiple different projects, movies, and shows, and be the villain for many different characters. He's already appeared in the Hawkeye series, being a villain there, and he'll be the main villain in the Echo series and the Daredevil series as well, and it's said that he is going to show up in some Spider-Man projects as well. So we pretty much have our big bad for the street level side of the MCU, and like I said, it looks like we could have our big bad, or at least one of them, for the supernatural side with an official announcement, as a actor has just been cast by Marvel Studios to play a very important role. She's been cast for Blade, but it looks like she's going to be sticking around in the MCU for quite some time. It's also looking like this could be the start of the Midnight Suns, which I know everybody is super excited about. So this character means a lot for the future of the MCU. And if you want to stay up to date on the MCU, be sure to subscribe. And if you subscribe and leave a comment down below, you're automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win a PS5, an Xbox Series X, some Marvel Legends stuff, some DC stuff, winner's choice, and we pick a winner at the end of each month. Now, you might have recently heard that Marvel Studios has cast Mia Goth for the Blade movie. Now, Mia Goth is known as a breakout star in the horror genre of film, so it's pretty fitting that they would cast her for a very dark and supernatural movie, Blade. So that's a great and exciting choice. However, the real kicker is who she's going to be playing. Now, with the announcement that she had been cast for Blade, they did not announce the official character she would be playing. However, many different insiders, including the insider My Time to Shine Hello, who has a great track record, came out and said Mia Goth is going to be playing the character Lilith. And this is a really big deal, and it also kind of tells us who the main villain of Blade is going to be. But more importantly, Lilith could serve as a big bad of the supernatural side of the MCU. Now, in the comics, Lilith is Dracula's daughter. But there is something you need to know. In the comics, there are different iterations and interpretations of the character Lilith. And one is Dracula's daughter, and the other is the mother of demons. Now, what I think they're going to do for the MCU is combine these two characters, which are the same characters, but again, they usually keep these two facts separate. I think they're going to combine these two facts because it just makes perfect sense, not only for the movie Blade, but also for the supernatural side. This could also lead her to go up against the Midnight Suns team, which she has in the comics, and she has recently in the game, the Midnight Suns. But this could tell us a little bit about who the villain of the Blade movie could be, because it could be Dracula. If they are going to make her the daughter of Dracula, that means they will most likely introduce Dracula in the Blade film. Now, they'll probably end up killing Dracula in the film, or at least end up getting rid of him for a while. And who is going to be left there after? His daughter, who is indeed evil. And typically in movies, when someone's parents get killed and they are evil themselves, they tend to seek revenge. So this could be what we're in for with the Blade movie. The introduction of Dracula as the main villain for Blade, and the introduction of his daughter in Blade as well, but will also go on to become a bigger villain and a bigger threat. Now, of course, the question is, who is going to be dealing with her? And like we've mentioned, the Midnight Suns are a perfect candidate. It already seems like Marvel Studios has kind of been hinting and teasing the Midnight Suns are coming. They've done a lot with the Midnight Suns in the comics and recently in the games like I mentioned, but now with character introductions like Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing, Elsa Bloodstone, the Blood Baron, and Baroness Cromwell, the confirmation that the Punisher is now coming to the MCU, and yes, he is still going to be played by Jon Bernthal. We also have Moon Knight, who I would love to see join the Midnight Suns. Now, of course, the introduction of Blade, and of course the rumor going around that Ghost Rider is going to enter the MCU sooner rather than later. It seems like all of the pieces are there for the Midnight Suns. We have our team already, once when Blade arrives that is, and all they need to do is kind of be put together. And we already have the perfect person to do that, the person who does it in the comics as well, Doctor Strange. And do you want to guess why the Midnight Suns were drawn together by Doctor Strange in the first place? It was to battle Lilith. Doctor Strange called all of these supernatural heroes together just to fight Lilith and her demonic children, the Lilin. So Lilith could go on to be a villain for multiple different projects. And let's not forget that we have Agatha Coven of Chaos coming as well, which is supposed to be dark and heavily centered on magic, specifically dark magic. And of course is going to be talking about the Darkhold as well, which is an incredibly dark object. Then we have the Ironheart series coming up, and the Hood is going to be the main villain of that series. However, the Hood might be getting his powers from a deal that he made with Mephisto. However, some people have recently said that this might not be true, but if he is going to be some type of an apprentice, well, it is possible that he could be the apprentice of Lilith, and they could start to introduce her into the MCU. Now, much like they're doing with Kingpin, they could do the same with Lilith. They could introduce her in several projects to be kind of the big bad of that supernatural side. And that's where we can kind of see everything come together for the Midnight Suns. Essentially, it will be like Phase 1. They'll introduce all of these characters on their own. We already have Doctor Strange, we have Elsa Bloodstone already, we already have Moon Knight, they're about to introduce Blade, and then they're going to introduce Ghost Rider, hopefully, fingers crossed. We also have Clea, who in the comics was married to Doctor Strange, and the two of them right now are off on a mission to try and fix an incursion. Now, there's a lot happening in between now and Secret Wars, and the Midnight Suns might not come until after Secret Wars. However, that doesn't mean that they can't start setting them up. And Doctor Strange, like I said, is the perfect person to bring them together, kind of like Nick Fury brought together the first Avengers. If anybody is going to see that the supernatural side of the MCU is going to have a big problem with a big villain, it's Doctor Strange. That is pretty much his job, and of course Wong's job as well, because Wong, of course, is the Sorcerer Supreme right now. However, there was a version of Multiverse of Madness that had Wong dying. Now, I'm not saying that Wong is going to die eventually, but I'm just saying Doctor Strange might take up the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme in the MCU. In fact, I'm expecting him to at some point in time. So, Mia Goth is going to be playing Lilith in the Blade movie, and maybe be playing Lilith in many other projects as well. And like I said, this also tells us that Dracula is most likely going to be the main villain of this film. So, let us know all of your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. What do you think about this? Do you like this? Are you waiting for the Midnight Suns to enter the MCU? Let us know. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.